These people are just freaks. They're predatory freaks. Conservatives are disgusting. But it's just so normalized to talk to children, to like push them into a certain direction and shame them, or like bully them into believing that only like a certain path is out there for them. Any deviation just doesn't exist as long as it is cis straight people doing it. There's something that I want to talk about, but there's just like so much stuff happening constantly that I'm not entirely sure if I want to do it this week or if that is something more for like next week or something when more stuff is developing. It's about like the censorship that is going on with like this one organization called like Collective Shout. They're like TERFs and funded by like conservative groups who are just going after like payment providers. They're like anti-gay marriage and anti-sex work and so on. They got Steam to drop a bunch of games, and they also got itch.io to drop a bunch of like games and media, and they adjusted things. So people have been calling like Visa and MasterCard, and the people there are just freaking out now. And when you call them, have like customer support, they're just calling the customers like predators and pedophiles and like that. And there was this one tweet on, or I guess post on Blue Sky, a Stripe representative hung up on me when they realized they told me they are disallowing LGBTQ content in transactions. So either they are slipping up more or just being more honest about their real intentions. Something that we always warned about is that these people, these organizations who are going after quote unquote sexual content, who are going after these types of media, their ultimate goal is to go after anything that can be considered sexual. And for these people, obviously, LGBTQ stuff is considered sexual. It's always so frustrating when like conservatives talk about like LGBTQ stuff as like sexual things, and then they have takes like this. I was like, teaching children that their only purpose in life is to marry someone of the opposite sex and have children is gross. And this person was like, it's called being normal. It's just conservatives love pushing the idea that like LGBTQ stuff is sexual and kinky, but it's totally fine for kids to consume media where a man kisses a woman, because that is just quote unquote normal. This stuff, it is just what is it? Compulsory heterosexuality. It's just pushing the belief that like heterosexuality is assumed and enforced upon people by a patriarchal, allonormative, and heteronormative society. The term was popularized by Adrienne Rich in her 1980s essay titled Compulsory Heterosexuality, Lesbian Existence, which is basically like a lot of women don't realize that they are lesbians because it's just so normalized to push the idea that their only purpose is to basically have a relationship with a man and produce offspring. This is being drilled into literal children from a really young age. Girls are being taught that like they're going to grow up one day and they're going to have like a family, so they have to learn how to be like a proper wife and shit like that. The biggest lie conservatives are pushing that is that this is not something sexual. It's a comphet also applies to men. It does. I agree with that, especially because like the Manosphere is teaching young men that everything that they do is literally just to attract a female and have like a family. The amount of times people like Andrew Tate go on their podcast and they're pushing like the idea that like, I don't know, if you're 30 and you're married and you don't have children, you kind of you just failed as a man. Or if you don't have 6 figures a year and you're 18, you failed or something. Like the idea is being pushed, you don't do it for yourself. It's just to get a partner. And then you don't even like form a actual meaningful relationship with them. It's just you diversify your DNA like that. It's gross. It's so disgusting. And I hate that this is just being considered normal and totally not sexual. But like if a trans person is just existing, then it's like a fetish and someone is a addict. I had this one tweet. I was like, I think more people should call me a good girl. It's obviously just like a meme tweet. And then this weirdo is like, transgenders try not to be addicts challenge. And then they were like continuously arguing that it's like, oh no, this is like a completely sexualized term and it's gross to like tweet this. And I was like, wow, okay, being praised and, you know, having some form of like affection or someone telling you that they're proud of them is just, that's, no, that means someone has like a addiction. But it's because I'm a trans person saying that. If I was a cis woman saying that, then, you know, obviously it would be different. It's because I'm trans. These people are just freaks. They're predatory freaks. Conservatives are disgusting. But it's just so normalized to talk to children, to like push them into a certain direction and shame them, or like bully them into believing that only like a certain path is out there for them. Any deviation just doesn't exist as long as it is cis straight people doing it. So yeah, when like these organizations like Collective Shout and so on, they have their foot in the door with sexual content, and it's just, they just want more. I think this was like for HIO's new adult content like updated thing, because like HIO is basically caving to payment processors like MasterCard and Visa. That is why these organizations, these groups have targeted, you know, Stripe, Visa, MasterCard, and so on. Actually, Wikipedia is like suing the UK government for like a similar reason, because they just like want to force Wikipedia to restrict access to only adults over the age of 18. So things are crazy right now, and I'm going to see how things are going to develop before like talking more about it. There was this where someone was like, anything dealing with sexuality is not kid appropriate, and I tweeted with a bunch of Disney kisses of straight people, being like, the straights have been shoving their sexuality down everyone's throat for centuries. It's time conservatives who care about children go after this instead. And then it's like, oh no, it's normal. No, marriage and family is what every kid should aspire to. Obviously, these people push the idea that marriage is only valid when it can produce offspring, when it's between a mom and a dad. A cis mom and a cis dad producing a child. That is like the only form of valid marriage to them. So it's okay to basically shove sexuality down the throats of kids, as long as it's cis and straight. I don't believe that is a real family. For what natural kids are impossible, gay marriage remains controversial. It's just so gross. Like, they're never going to like see the hypocrisy. They don't see, because it's just like so ingrained into them that what they're doing is like the right thing. You know how Christians are, like conservative Christians with their Bible, basically like shoving their faith down everyone's throat, and they're like, well, but it's the Bible, so I'm right, and I'm doing like the right thing. So you actually are the demon if you don't let me preach to you. If you don't live according to my way of life, then you are awful. But when a trans person says, hey, I changed my legal name, then it's like, no, how dare you? I'm going to use your biological name that was assigned to you by your parents based on your genitalia. What is your real name, you demon? Never use Twitter for good reason. I mean, these are like the things that I have in YouTube comments as well. It's not just a Twitter thing. It's like any place where there are people. They would actually quote the Bible entirely. I wouldn't even mind if they are cherry picking. I mean, they're also like using interpretations or mistranslations of things in order to like justify their bigotry. Just don't talk to people then. Okay, that's going to be a fun stream. Being a Christian from the other side of the world, India, it disgusts me how the Western ones try to control others. That's not the point. The brain rot is hitting churches worldwide. I mean, it always has. Like, the church and like faith has always been used to justify like genocides and but yeah, we'll see what happens with the censorship arc. The UK government is also like really wild right now when it comes to that. They want to ban YouTube in Australia for those under the age of 18. YouTube wants to implement like an AI system to detect if the user is under the age of 18, which is like, it's definitely not going to cause any issues whatsoever, and it's a flawless system. It's also like a huge like privacy issue, because like imagine you just want to browse on, I don't know, a Discord server, and you have to link to like a third party AI company your government ID.